Hi everybody, my name is Christine Mann. I've done a couple live videos for some kids that I babysit, and I'm not babysitting them right now and I'm really missing them. So I figured instead of just doing it for them on the group page, I thought I would share this with everybody. So this is something that I go through with them. It's called the Lamb Book. And it's an excellent explanation of the gospel message and how a child can fully understand what God has done for them and how much He loves them. Now, most of the kids that have come to my house have heard this at least once. I have a few kids that are new now, and so we just started it, and so I thought I would start over again. And just so that everybody on here could watch it as well. I know that it's good for kids to watch people read to them, so hopefully this will be an encouragement for you. I don't know who all is going to be watching it with me, but I thought we would start. So this, oh, hang on. I'm not very good at this. Okay, first page. It's a picture of the Bible. So it says, the Bible is a very important letter from God and is written directly to each of us. That's right, the Bible says that God sent a very special message just to you. Although the letter was written many years ago, what it has to say is just as important today as when it was first written. Every boy and girl needs to know what the Bible says to them. Here's a nice close-up of your picture. The first pages in the Bible tell us that God was never born and He will never die. I know it's hard to imagine, but it's true. His life had no beginning and it will never end. God has always been and He will always be. The Bible says that in the beginning there was only God. There were no plants, animals, or people. There was no earth, no moon, or no sun. There was no other gods, nothing. Only God was alive in the beginning. Here's the next picture. The Bible says that God made all the things that we can see and all the things we can't see. One of the first things God did, and those of you that have watched it a million times would be yelling this, He made angels. We cannot see angels, just like we cannot see God. Both angels and God are what we call spirits. They're like people, but they don't have bodies of muscle and bone. The angels were made to be God's special messengers. They were to do what God said. All the angels watched and sang as God made the world. The Bible tells us that when God made the world, He did it in a very special way. When we make things, we need pencils and paper and scissors, and sometimes we make things using wood and nails and glue. And at other times we use crochet hooks and crochet yarn. But the Bible says that when God made the world, He didn't need any tools at all. God just spoke, and there it was. God said, "Let there be light." And you know what? Just like that, light appeared in the darkness. The Bible says that God made everything we see simply by speaking words out of His mouth. God has so much power. He can do anything, and that should be very reassuring for us. The Bible tells us that God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. He placed them in the sky exactly where He wanted them. God could do that because God is everywhere. We should be happy to know that God is everywhere. This means he can be with you, and at the same time, he can be with your family and everybody in quarantine. He can be with friends in other countries. No matter how far away they are or where they live, God can be with them at the same time he's with you. That is how big and great God is. Oh, I like this one. Isn't that gorgeous? The Bible says that God made the world in 6 days. Only God can do that. He made the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the water we drink. He made the rivers, oceans, and mountains. God made all the trees and flowers, and they're beautiful. God made all the fish that swim. He made minnows and whales, crabs and seahorses, and anything else you can imagine in the water. God made the birds that fly in the sky, whether big or small. God made them all. I wonder what your favorite flying animal is. Mine is a hummingbird. You can see them right down there. I think they're the most amazing bird ever. God made the animals that slither and crawl, walk and hop, tiny or tall, fast or slow. The Bible tells us that God created them all. Any animal you can imagine. I wonder what your favorite animal is. Mine's actually the elephant. I love elephants. I just think they're the most incredible creature. Last of all, and those of you that know this book, God made people. God made man and woman. Their names were Adam and Eve. God loved them and cared for them. He made a perfect garden full of all sorts of trees, flowers, and tame animals. Can you imagine hanging out with all those animals? God made all of them just for Adam and Eve so that they could enjoy all that God made. God would come and visit Adam and Eve. This is the most amazing part that I can imagine being in this garden. They would walk together in the garden. They were very close friends. Can you imagine that? Walking and talking with the creator of the whole universe. What do you think they talked about? I would want to know what it was like before God created everything. Well, that is the end of chapter 1. And we are going to do chapter 2 another day. It'll be sometime in the afternoon because I'm, not really good at planning ahead. If you know me at all, that's not a surprise to you. But that is the first chapter of the Lamb book. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you'll join me next time. Love you guys and miss you to pieces.